Good morning. It is time for another early morning with Debbie. I have something super fun to show you this morning. We just released yesterday our brand new Festive Fun Plaid kit. So we have created for the holidays, not one, but two incredible plaid plates. Not only have we done the plaid plates, we have also done a coordinating collection of stamping polishes that are a little bit special. These are actually versions of existing polishes. However, these are slightly sheer. So when you are creating your plaids, where they intersect and overlap, it will be darker. And I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, so why don't we just jump in and I will show you what I mean. So with the first one, I think I want to do, let's do this guy first. We're gonna do this guy first. And the reason I selected him, are you ready for it? He's 9 layers. Okay, don't panic, don't panic. They're all numbered. And Carly has put it together so beautifully to show you easily how this is done. And of course, you've got the end result right here. So you've got a reference to see how things are ending up and where layers kind of go on top of layers. So let's just jump in and I'll show you what I mean. I've got a couple of pops ready to go over here, and it's just color number 49 from KoKo and Claire. I always work on top of KoKo and Claire, of course. And the first one is green, and so is the second one. So we're gonna go green over green. Number 1 and number 2 are both gonna be green. So let's get started with those. Got my scraper, stamper in hand, of course. And I'm going to go quite parallel because these are wide lines, okay? So nice and low on the scrape and then quick over top. Missed part of it, but you know what? When I get to the nail here, you'll see that that really does not matter because we're gonna go to the left of center anyway. So it's really not going to affect what we're doing. And there we go. Pardon me. Layer number 1. Only 8 to go. It's funny, it sounds super intimidating. You'll see, it's really not. It's just a matter of following the little instructions and creating. It's so much fun. Okay, same thing, because these are quite wide lines, I'm gonna stay nice and low, ready with my scraper or my stamper to pick up immediately. Okay, now we've got some voids at the top. Let me put this over and see if it's gonna matter, because if it intersects, it's probably not a big deal. By the time we are done this design, everything has got kind of multiple layers anyway. So now you can see what I'm talking about where the intersections happen. Look at that perfect stacking of color and creating that perfect plaid. Gosh, that's even pretty, just like that. 1, 2, done. Oh, that's no fun. Let's keep going. Okay, next 2, 3 and 4 are both red. So that's these 2 right here. And these guys, if you look, are just gonna go in between our greens. So just break it down by color. I'm gonna keep that way though. And our red is ready to go. I know by looking at this, I am not gonna need this line over here. I'm probably not gonna need this line over here either. So I'm not gonna worry about using up a bunch of polish to do that. All right, scrape and then nice and quick. You just want to be quick so that these lines don't get wobbly. Picking up lines takes a little bit of practice. So if you noticed, I just went really fast. Some people are like, okay, well, you have to go across. Some people are like, you have to go with the line. You've got to just play with it a bit and figure out what works best for your technique. There's no wrong way or right way. like only one right way to do it. You've got to figure out what works for you. And it takes a bit of practice and a bit of playing. And then once you get your system down, it's so easy and it's so fun and it's so fast. Okay, number 4. And it again is red. So we're just crisscrossing these guys in the center. And again, I can tell I'm not gonna need the upper and the lower because of the length of my nail. So I'm just gonna pick up the middle part of this image where we're going to go across these red ones. I guess I tend to go along with the line. Just was paying attention there, what I sort of instinctively did to pick that up. And I end up going with the line, where others like to go across it. Well, sometimes I go across it. Sometimes I scrape diagonally. It just depends what's working for me that day too. Okay, shake it in there. Crisscross. Oh gosh, that's really pretty just like that. I'm probably gonna say that for every layer, guys. I'm just gonna warn you now. Because it really is pretty, every layer. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is, this is the white. I think we're gonna use white anyway. You can interpret it whichever way you like, to be honest. And that is number 5. So we're gonna use the white. And now, let's take a look here. So the white, the number 5 shimmer, is gonna go over top of our green. So it's gonna go just to the other side of that red that we just laid down. So let's pick that up next. I think we need to be right down the center with this one. And this one, instinctively, I want to kind of go across it instead of just straight down to scrape. And there we go. Okay, so this, like I say, is going right in the center of the green. So I'm just looking here, and the same on the other side, and aiming right down the middle. Once I touch there in the center, I'm just going to commit and finish the rest of that application. Oh, look at that. A little bit of shimmer in there now. Lovely. Okay. So our next color is number 6, and it's green. And that's right there. And those are going to go right down the center of that white that we just put on. So this is just going to give it some texture. Looks like tire tracks. Someone came speeding down my stamper. And I think what I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to add this one on the side by itself. Hopefully I'm focusing there so that you guys can see. Okay, so that went right down the center of that white that we just added. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm just tilting my stamper to make sure that I don't get these accidentally added. Right, so I'm just pushing down that little portion there. Now we've got texture being added on that side. And then the next one we're gonna do is gonna be the same thing, but red going this way on all those little whites that we just added there in layer number 5. Okay, so this is layer number 7. Layer number 7, guys. We're almost done. Okay. So I'm just going to look right down the center here. These are just going left to right, so we're not worried about anything else. And if I get that center one in the right spot, and the other two will line up. Just commit. Look at the texture coming through on this now. So much fun. Okay, so gonna need to do a little bit of cleanup here. Scraping all these upper images has left a bunch of stuff down here in 8 and 9. Now with our number 8, we've got a couple of options here. If you have color number 34 in your collection, you might want to just use color number 34 instead of the 230S, the sheer version, just so that you get a solid base, because what we're creating now, let me pull this over here, I'm in the middle of cleaning. We're creating this little white spot here for the Christmas trees to go on. So if you want the Christmas trees to really pop, then you're gonna want to use 34 or do a couple layers of 230. So to show you how to do a couple layers of 230, that's what I'm gonna do. And it's a little trickier. So I always like to show you things that are a little trickier so that you have an idea how that could work. So let's go ahead and do that. And to lift this guy, because little squares, little circles, little things like that are often hard to lift without getting a void. So I'm gonna go fast on my scrape. I'm using some pressure, but not a ton of pressure. And my stamper is ready to go. So as I'm scraping, I'm coming at that with my lift. Right in behind, nice and light, roll over top. Now, these little white guys are going on the intersections where the green and the red meet. And on this one, there's literally only one on this side. And there's literally only one on that side. Okay, so that noted, because it's not intersecting here, it's off the nail because we're an almond. And same thing over here. So I'm going to use my little squares. Like so. Hopefully it's focusing. And I'm just going to stack what I've lifted, all three of those, to get that more solid white. And same thing over here. So I've already got three perfect ones lifted. Let's just use them again. And that's going to give us a nice little spot of white to pop those two little trees. So we're only going to need two little trees. Now you can see that if you had a longer, maybe square nail, even a more oval nail, not quite so almond, that you would have an intersection here. So you would want to make sure that that is also there. And depending on the shape of your nail or how high or low you went with the image, you're going to have those intersections in more places. But for us, because of this pretty little almond nail, we've only got it in the one spot over here. Right, so number 9 is green, these little trees. I'm going to do the same thing, and maybe we'll stack these guys up in 3. Oops, sorry, just about knocked you all over. Same thing, nice and low, and immediately lift. Oh, we got most of it. That top tree in the corner there is missing its peak, but we shouldn't need it. Okay, get this guy to focus. Okay, so we're going right in where our little white, oh yeah, let's do 2. Stack another one in there. So that our little tree is a little more solid. As you get higher up in the layers, the opacity becomes something that you want a little more solid. And there we go. Got our cute little trees on the sides there. I wonder if I can get the lighting a little bit better here. Check that out. So that is ready for top coat. Our little plaid masterpiece. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you gonna give it a try? Make sure you tag us if you do, I wanna see. Okay, so let's zoom back out here a little bit. And come back over here. We've got one more to do. So I wanna grab our other plate over here. Give it a little cleanup. And we're gonna do a freestyle one over here. And I'm gonna show you how to do that because not all plaid lines kind of go together and make sense. So you wanna make sure that if you're gonna do your own freestyle one, which I highly recommend, so fun and so cute, but you do have to do a little bit of planning. And that's where this guy comes in super handy. Okay, so there's the ones that are on this plate. Hearts and snowflakes. So many cute little diamonds. So many cute options. Okay, I'm gonna pop that over here and behind. And again, I want to show you how these guys layer over top of one another nicely. So let's go with these big guys here. Give us some options. Lifting the bigger ones is always a little bit trickier, so make sure you've got enough polish. Don't go chintzy on the polish when you know your images are quite large. And nice and flat. And roll over quick. Quick and light to get that picked up. And we're gonna put this guy, let's go right down the center. As centered as we can anyway. That looks pretty good. And now we'll do the horizontal version of the same image. It's number 17 on this particular plate. There's 18 images on this plate. So that one I went across to pick up. Picked up great. And we're just gonna go across. Stay a little to the left. There's a little bit of a void in that middle one, so if I stay to the left just slightly, it won't be too visible. And you can see how where they intersect, you get that perfect darkening of those images. Okay, so here's where a little bit of planning comes into place, because not everything can go on top of or in between. They're all just spaced a little differently. So this guy's gonna help us to decide what will work and what won't work. So these, you could use the number 13 here, which is just, hold on, let me move this up a little bit so that you can see. It's just the crosses and the crosses. There's another one that they're a little bit more spaced out. That one you can see on there. And that one could work. But what I want to try, what I want to show you is number 11 and number 12 are these two very textured images. And if you can see here, I want to go right in the center of my white with these. Now the red one, if you look here, if I try and go in the center, it's not going to reach all the way to the tip of my nail. But if I go with the green one, it will. So the way that one is spaced and designed, it's just going to give you that little bit different reach based on where we positioned these guys. If that makes sense. So the green one is the one that's going to work for us, and it has the flat side. So that is number 11. Here, I'll show you what I mean. It has the flat side, whereas this one, there is no flat side. So that's how you can tell the two apart when you're trying to decide which one of those is going to work for you. So we are going to do it in red, but it is the green. It is the green here on this image. Okay, so let's go ahead and put red on number 11. I'm going to cover almost the whole thing. Scrape and lift. And now we want to go right in the center of those white voids there. And just look back and forth until I feel like I'm as centered as I can be. Not perfect, but still super cute. Now let's see if I would like to add just a tiny bit, knock that guy over, just a tiny bit of maybe gold, a little bit of twinkle. So I'm just looking here now at this super fine one on this image to see if it will sit in somewhere and work. And it's just kind of random. I don't love that one. And what about our grid? No, the grid might be a little much. I think what we'll try is the super fine. Let me show you number 7 here. This guy. It's really, really fine. So it's just gonna lay in kind of wherever you pop it. It's not really gonna be dominant, so it doesn't really matter, but it'll give just that little bit of twinkle. It'll catch the light just ever so slightly. So that is number 231S. And cover that guy up. Now he's really fine. So I'm gonna have my stamper ready to go. And I'm lifting the second I'm scraping. And check out those teeny tiny details. Every single one. Use the correct technique and the correct polish. You can lift just about anything. Okay, so that is going to position just in the center, above and below our green. I'm gonna aim for that guy to kind of go down the middle of that green. And you can just see that little bit of twinkle, a little bit of shimmer that adds in the center and around that green. And that one's done. So those are ready for top coat. So ready for top coat and your Christmas mani. Oh, so much fun. Okay, go to it, guys. I want to see what you create. Make sure that you tag us, and I think let's create a hashtag. Let's create CJS Plaid, and make sure you use it when you post, and make sure you tag us because we cannot wait to see what you create with these this Christmas. Don't forget that you can make tons, endless different combinations with different polish colors. So we did some navies, just using, I believe this one, I should put it on a post. Here, let me put these on a post. This one we used the sheer in gold and the white, so 231 and 230. And we also used 51, the more solid version. It's right here. The more solid version of the gold, number 51. And that's what we got over top of navy. And another example here. That one we used 230 and 51. So this super fine one in the background is the sheer white, and then the more solid gold. And this guy, we used our other sheer collection, which is 129 to 132. We used some of the purples and pinks, and also 34 and 51 to create that one. And then this guy is just, I don't know, our favorite pinks. I'm not sure which numbers those are. I'm gonna guess 164 and probably 162, maybe a 202, and then some 51. The gold little accents there, number 51. So endless options for creating plaid with these two plates. So make sure that you tag us, and we will see you in the next video.